Plenty of room. So, as you can see, welcome back. Group 5B, 8 and 12B, race 1 for the Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. Welcome to the pace car, and away we go. Now, these are beautifully prepared cars. Small bore World Sports Car Championship and prototypes was raced between 1960 and 1972. 3 classes of sports, 2000 cars, RS cars, and World Sports racing cars as well. Lotus 23s, 30s, 40s, Porsche 904s, 906s, the odd Elva out there, Lola, 11. And so it's a real combination this, but a really strong field, I may add. And look at it, wheel to wheel, straight away. Have to be under 2 litre, and purpose-built racing sports cars, sports races they're called, raced between 1960 and 1970. That's the Group 5 class I'm talking about, just one of the 3 classes out there at the moment. Now these Group 5 cars must be prepared as they were during their competitive racing period. The group requires the use of vintage tread tyres, and they stick to a very strict rule book. I do believe that's the sun coming out. Lovely. So we're underway in our next group of cars, and I'll go through each and every one of the groups. So this is quite a sight, to be honest. Really, really impressive. What's the line they come then to start? Get some real grip now onto the second lap of their race. Look at that, beautiful. Cats around there, you've got a Lola around there, you've got Lotuses out there. What's all going on? Now I mentioned Group 5, let's have a look at Group 8. We've got here some of the Porsches you'll see. Series produced sports cars and sedans in production prior to 1979. Later cars by invitation. So we've got the odd Lotus Super 7. Just saw a glimpse of that Datsun 240Z, or Z as they say in the States. A couple of BMWs, a few 911s, Datsun 510 also, there's a Datsun. Lovely. We've even got an Alfa Romeo GTV and the odd Escort out there as well. And that is the Group 8 cars. And their eligibility is recognised series produced sports cars and sedans in production to 1972. Later cars, like I said, by invite or by approval. Another huge field as well, I may add. I never know where they find the parts to keep these cars going. But that is the beauty of vintage racing, is that you've got the mechanics who are kind of vintage themselves. They've been wrenching, usually, for many a year, and they can fix pretty much any problem these cars can throw at them. But they are strict on the rules about how they prepare the cars in the same manner as they were raced at the time of inception, or time when they were. Craig Chiver leading the way at the moment after 2 laps. In his red Lotus 7. David Hoover in the orange, black and yellow Datsun 280ZX, ZX I should say. And Jim Gowina in the Lotus 23. Total of 33 cars in these 3 groups. Pretty impressive. so glad it's not raining, because I wouldn't want to be in one of those open top cars right now in the rain that we had earlier in the day. And Kissinger in 4th position at the moment, Scott Kissinger. Denny Wilson in 5th in the Lotus Super 7. That's a cracker. And just behind him, John Nash in the other Super 7. Got a couple of Huffaker Triumphs out there, a TR8 car in 7th place. The famous Huffaker name. It is synonymous with vintage racing currently in California. It's got a Lexus IS 300 out there. The house of Ron Hawley. Haven't seen that yet. There's the Datsun. So we've got a good battle on here between the number 33 of Jim Guina and Scott Kissinger. Scott just behind him in the all-black number 202 Datsun 240Z. A rather nimble Lotus 23B, which is a real picture in all silver. Holding his own right now. Maybe a little quicker in the corners. And the Datsun. Wilson's Lotus 7. It looks such a leisurely car, you wouldn't want to race it. It looks as though you should be going down to the beach on a Sunday afternoon in that, but it's pedaling around nicely here at Mid-Ohio. And meanwhile, this battle for 3rd place is starting to hot up nicely. Jim Guina in the Lotus 23, still holding off Scott Kissinger. There he is. Sounds so good too. Out of the complex that is the carousel, and onto the main straight they come, past our commentary position. And the sun's come out finally here at Mid-Ohio. This is the battle for 3rd place. And just behind, in the other Super 7, the Mecum on the back, is the yellow and black of Denny Wilson, who I mentioned just a moment ago. Behind Denny is John Nash in another Lotus Super 7. Got a bunch of Lotuses at the front as England take on Japan. Most of these drivers know each other's game very well and probably raced each other for many years. Not always in the same group. In fact, several drivers will often take on a couple of groups per weekend, depending. There's a lot of preparation involved, but this is an almighty battle at the moment between tiny Lotus and certainly more modern Datsun. But right now, Denny Wilson doing a good job of staying with them too, in 5th place. And you're watching the action of 33 cars from Group 5, Group 8 and Group 12B here. And as I mentioned earlier, Group 8 consists mainly of medium displacement cars. And they are expected to be prepared. And the Datsun in trouble now. And the Lotus gets right on the rear end, coming through the carousel. That's where these Lotuses are so nimble, is in the tight corners, and that's where the Datsun's struggling. In a straight line, he's got him. But when it slows right down, he's got some work to do. Like I said, they're all prepared to SVRA standards for 1972 or earlier. A few adjustments to the original rules, but they all conform to what I just said, the 1972 regs effectively and standards. And now the Datsun losing ground, no question about it, to the Lotus of Jim Guina. And this battle for third place. Out front, Craig Chimer in the Lotus 7 is up the road, so to speak. He's some 5.7 seconds up the road of this battle for third place. And quite rightly, we're focusing on that because that's where the action is. And at the moment, Jim Gawina doing a really good job of holding off Scott Kissinger in this really, really good battle that we can see from above here, from the drone. And I'm really impressed with the shots we're getting from the drone today. You can see these lush green fields in the background, looking down on this historic track. Somewhat appropriate that we've got historic racing here as the Datsun continues. He held off the Lotus behind last time out, the Lotus was all over him. So he's going to travel a lot of room now. And the Super 7 will have to build on another charge. Meanwhile, another Super 7 in the background, there he is. Diving into turn 1. And behind him, that's that Lexus we were mentioning earlier. The Lexus IS300 just darting over the bridge. Behind them is the Toyota World Sports Racer. And Dave Bowman in 8th position. Lenahan just behind him. Then Robert Baxter. Bobsy. Haven't had a lot of chance to look at the leaders so far. Jim Lenahan in the 3A Porsche 914. Beautiful. That's a real piece of history, no question about it. There's the Lexus going through a shot. And this, number 3A. That's behind him, Robert Baxter in a Bobsy SR7. He's got a Ford Capri out there. Murdoch at the wheel, and John Putnam the second in the Mazda RX-7. So it's a real combination out there. Japanese, mainly British entries, in terms of marks anyway, and mostly Americans at the wheel. Well, I hope the weather stays fair, because there's a lot of fans come out at the last minute, and I think just desperate to get out of the house, I'm sure, as we all were. And it would be nice to get some sunshine on their faces for the first time in a while. Out front, Craig Chimer doing the business in the Lotus 7, now leads by some 6.5 seconds over David Hoover. And Jim Gawina, man we've been focusing on quite some time in the early part of the race, still holding on to third place. Now, as we've mentioned before, there are some 12 groups here and over 400 entries to SVRA this weekend alone. And of course, they were in action last weekend as well at Road America. So this has been a quick jaunt down to Cleveland and away as the checkered flag is out. Was another lovely display of racing as into the pits he comes. Group 5, 8 and 12 are done, and it looks as though Craig Chimer in the number 5 has taken victory as expected, and by over 6.5 seconds, I may add. So well done to Craig. David Hoover will take second place in the number 60 Datsun 280ZX, and Jim Gawina in the Lotus 23B taking third, holding off Scott Kissinger in that black Datsun 240Z. And just behind him, John Nash in the Lotus Super 7. So that concludes our latest action from the Group 5, Group 8 and Group 12. They'll be back in action again for their second race of the weekend, and that will be tomorrow. So we'll see these boys in action.